Hello, welcome to episode 1 of JD Talks. I'm Jacob, and
I'm Dylan.
And today we have a few topics we'll be talking about.
Yeah, you can see them on the screen. Yeah, we got Earl Thomas's tantrum, Buda Baker's contract, can the Clippers win with Paul George, and our NBA lottery draft predictions.
All right, let's get right into it.
Number one.
Starting with Earl Thomas's tantrum. So if you haven't heard, Earl Thomas got into a fight, which is not the first one this year.
Right.
He had a first argument with nose tackle Brandon Williams 11 months ago and a loss. And this time in practice, he and a teammate, Chuck Clark, got into a fiery exchange where it ended up with Earl Thomas throwing a punch right to Chuck Clark, and then throws his helmet down. Earl Thomas was told not to come back to the meeting the next day.
And he was cut.
He was released.
So, do we think he's going to end up back on the team? And if so, where?
31-year-old safety was pretty productive for that age of a safety. Yeah. But I don't know how much I don't know how many teams are gonna be looking at that old as a safety. 31 as a safety.
And you know he's gonna be wanting a decent amount of money too.
Right.
Because even the reason he left the Seahawks was because he wasn't getting paid.
They couldn't agree on a contract, and
right.
Seattle didn't want to pay him that much.
And our team's gonna want to pay him at that old, and with the issues he brings, I don't think so. I think we're getting another Antonio Brown situation coming up.
He's been a locker room cancer recently.
Yeah, exactly, and we all know how that goes. If you are the best at your position,
if you're causing problems in the locker room, no one's gonna want you. Look at Antonio Brown, like you said, on top of the receiving world, and then a few mess ups, and he's retired from the NFL.
But if he does end up on a team, I've got to say the Cowboys,
because first of all, Cowboys are known for taking in people with questionable backgrounds,
and
social
interaction. If they do pick him up with the offense they have, they could be in a win-now situation.
They are in a win-now situation.
But adding him could be like the Super Bowl contention.
They have all the pieces. We just need to see Dak Prescott perform. But we're not talking about the Cowboys today. Let's go back to the Ravens. With the release of Earl Thomas, right now their starting free safety is a 2018 sixth-round pick, Deshaun Elliott, who hasn't seen much, if any, playing time. But you never know. Maybe this could be his role, and he could step up.
Right.
Or they could sign a replacement. But with Earl Thomas's releasement, they wanted to get rid of him so bad that they took a $15 million cap hit.
Yeah.
And that's if they don't void the $10 million contract.
Right.
So with the whole Earl Thomas situation, we don't know.
It's up in the air right now. It is.
Would last season be his last season in the NFL? And if it was, is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't think so.
No? You don't think...
Even with how much you perform, you kind of have to... Just because of how you go out, that could have changed it.
Maybe. You never know. Maybe a few more years would have solidified it, but I feel like he definitely could be a candidate. Definitely not first ballot.
Yeah. But it's not like he's for sure not, but he just went off on a bad route. Like, do you think Antonio Brown will be a Hall of Famer?
If he kept playing, yeah.
But right now, probably not.
Right? Didn't play long enough.
If he ends up back on a team, and
balls out for a few more years, why not? He's still a great ball player. It's just a few mistakes.
Right.
All right.
Next up.
Staying on topic of safeties, Buda Baker got paid.
I loved.
Yeah. He is now the highest paid safety of all time. 4 years, $59 million. Is he worth it? What do you think?
I don't think any safety is worth that, to be honest.
I'm going to have to agree with you.
He performs. He produces.
He's a force in the run and the passing game.
Right. But...
Up there for... Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
But even like the Jamal Adams and the Eddie Jacksons and Menke, I don't think I'd pay a safety that much.
I don't think so. But, so he'll make about $15 million a year, which obviously for a safety, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he did lead the NFL in solo tackles, which is a huge help.
He deserves a good contract. It's just not this good.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of the highest other paid safeties are Eddie Jackson with like about $0.5 million less. Would you take Buda Baker over Eddie Jackson?
It's close. I mean, that's more of a team thing.
Obviously, you're going to be biased because as a Bears fan.
Yeah, but that's more of a what team does he fit on?
I'll take Buda Baker as a Packers fan, but we'll all right. Yeah, that could go either way. Kevin Byard. If we're talking run game, definitely taking Buda Baker.
Yeah,
But in the pass game, I'm going Kevin Byard. He's just a better coverage man.
that's the same thing I was gonna say with Eddie Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Tyrann Mathieu.
I'm taking Buda Baker over Tyrann Mathieu.
I think I am too. Maybe prime Honey Badger, but right now he had a great season.
Yeah,
but you can kind of tell with some of the places.
even like with the Texans, he didn't really perform.
Landon Collins, definitely taking Buda Baker.
Yeah, Buda Baker.
Landon Collins, just almost a fourth of the solo tackles and same amount of interceptions.
Yeah.
The only thing about Buda Baker is 0 picks in the 2 years he's been in the league.
Yeah.
2 Pro Bowl
but
selections.
think about it, 2 years in the league and you're already leading the league.
He's a baller. He's a great
young,
player.
Yeah. He's got time.
Mm-hmm. Devin McCourty.
I'm taking McCourty. Actually, no, I'm taking Buda.
I'm taking Buda because McCourty's declining.
That's it. Off of age.
Justin Simmons. Probably taking Buda Baker, but Justin Simmons has got to be up there for coverage.
He's also young too.
He's a great coverage safety.
Right.
65 solo tackles and 4 interceptions.
Right.
And then Anthony Harris tied for the most interceptions in the league. Tied for the most interceptions in the league. 35 solo tackles and also a young player.
Right. Yeah. I'm still taking Buda though.
So, in all, Buda Baker.
Top 5 safety.
Top 5 safety, most likely.
But
up there with Minka and Jamal.
Can you pay that much money for a safety?
I don't think so.
Next up, moving to basketball.
Playoff P struggles.
Which is a familiar sight.
Yeah. Playoff. Paul George, unfortunately, has never been a great playoff player. More of a regular season guy, but has balled out in the playoffs sometimes.
But this season is worse than normal.
It's bad.
Very bad.
But
it's like it's killing the Clippers at this point too, because how can you be the number 2 guy in a team and
contending for a championship
and barely drop double-digit points, right?
Averaging 15 points, he's shooting 27% and 20% from 3. You can't be the second ball handler if you're averaging those numbers.
No, not at all. Not even close. The Clippers should have won this series easily.
I don't know, because Luka's been balling.
Luka has been balling, but just the amount of depth they have compared to the Mavericks, it's just so much better. Sorry about the noise in the background if you hear any dogs barking.
But the Mavericks are young. The duo of Luka and Kristaps, I feel like is definitely going to go somewhere in the future.
Oh yeah,
Luka's a once in a lifetime talent. Like, he's 22 years old, 23 years old,
I don't even know if he's even
somewhere around there. I think he's 22. Somewhere around 22 years old, and he's putting up 40-point triple doubles.
Right.
That's like some Wilt Chamberlain type of stuff you see in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so staying with the NBA, we have our draft predictions
For the draft lottery.
Yeah, just for the lottery picks.
So we'll take turns. We're gonna go pick by pick. We're gonna discuss, see what we're thinking, and I guess you guys can let us know who you agree with, what your
let us know in the comments if you
see if you disagree with any of us. Agree. So starting off with Minnesota, pick number 1. You can go first.
I'm gonna have to go LaMelo. I think it's just the fact that I don't think he's the best player in the draft right now, but I think he has the highest ceiling in the draft. I think he could be better than anyone here, but I do not think he's the best player right now. But I think sometimes you gotta take a risk on getting a potential superstar than getting a star right at the start.
I love LaMelo. I definitely think he's a top player in this draft, but with the addition of D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves, they don't need a point guard. And I feel like
but do they want to keep D'Angelo Russell in the long run?
I mean, they made a deal for him, so I feel like we know that D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Devin Booker are best friends, and that's a point I want to get to. Do they even use the pick? I feel so.
But that's what I'm saying. If they do trade that to the Suns are going to take LaMelo
because they don't have a point guard.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Either way, I think LaMelo is going to end up as the first.
If the Timberwolves do take the pick, I'm going Anthony Edwards. He slides right next to D'Angelo Russell. He was a phenomenal defender in college for Georgia. He's so versatile. He can do anything you want out of a guard. He can score. He can pass. He can defend. He can even rebound for a 6'3", 6'4" guy. So I'm going Anthony Edwards.
All right.
Golden State at number 2.
James Wiseman.
I feel like that's pretty sound.
Yeah.
And the whole Golden State dynasty, the Warriors have really never had a
Right.
dominant
And
center.
Curry will be back. Clay will be back.
They're back in contention.
Draymond is back.
And then they got Wiggins, and
Right.
we see what they'll do with Wiggins.
And then you add Wiseman, that's a starting lineup.
Right. And if Wiggins can develop under Steve Kerr.
Right, that's a force to be reckoned with. Again.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Nothing new. Nothing controversial.
I don't think that's debatable.
Hornets, this is where I see Anthony Edwards.
Really? So slide him next to Devontae Graham in that backcourt?
Yeah.
I didn't go with Anthony Edwards yet. He's not my pick for 3. For 3, I'm going Onyeka Okongwu out of center for USC.
Okay.
Charlotte, there's a lot of holes to fill
Yeah.
in that lineup, but I feel like if you can pair Devontae Graham with a big man, I definitely feel that'll be beneficial for both of their growth, as Devontae Graham had a huge jump from last year to this year.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the most improved players, even though it wasn't in the top 3 finalists, but
Still
there's just
up there.
players who even improved more than him.
Right.
So I feel like he's definitely up there. And having Devontae Graham, giving him that big man, can help. And especially and Onyeka can do anything you want for a center. He's strong.
Right.
He's about 240
Mm-hmm.
and about 6'10". Great interior defense.
Right.
Player comparison, I'll give him probably like a
Hassan
Whiteside, but shorter.
Right.
So yeah.
Next up, for the Bulls, I'm going Sadiq Bey out of Villanova, the small forward. I just think right now their backcourt, they don't really need anyone else right now. They have such a young team with Kobe White and Zach LaVine, and then Sato off the bench. Their backcourt is set. They have Laurie, who obviously didn't have the season we expected him to have this.
Talk about trade talks with Laurie.
Yeah, but I think he'll stay for now. And then you got Darius Garland, who's been playing pretty good. Sorry, not Darius Garland. What's his name?
Thomas Satoransky, I think you're talking
No. Besides the point, they don't really have that standout small forward right now.
Otto Porter, are you talking about?
But even Otto Porter's not. He's good, but
He's
not,
average.
Right. So Sadiq Bey, 6'8", small forward. He's got a complete offensive package. Can do everything. Can shoot. Can drive. Is a good playmaker. I just see him fitting more in the Bulls. What do you got?
For 4 with Chicago, if he's still there, I think they take LaMelo. I think LaMelo's got the size. They could slide Zach LaVine to small forward, play maybe LaMelo or Kobe White as shooting guard. It's just, if he's still there, he's the best available for them.
Yeah, that is true. I just don't think he'll be there. Okay.
So that's kind of just a bailout kind of thing. Cleveland
So,
at number 5.
This is where I have Obi Toppin.
I agree.
Yeah.
With Kevin Love probably leaving. Because obviously he's stuck in a black hole there.
Right.
Kevin Love is too good and he's not young enough to really be on that team.
Right.
Get older veterans to teach the younger guys, but Kevin Love is just his career is gonna be wasted there.
Right.
So either let him go in free agents.
Yeah, you don't need to pay for him because it's just a waste of him and your money.
Or send him in a package to a title contender.
Right.
Let him help a team get a championship and just build up your future. Because, sorry to all the Cleveland fans, you guys aren't going to be contenders
anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hawks. Who do you have?
I went Isaac Okoro, small forward out of Auburn.
This is where I've got Onyeka Okongwu out of Southern Carolina, the power forward. Because they have... Really, the Hawks don't really have much besides Trae Young
and John Collins.
Yeah, and see, that's if you move John Collins to center, and then or even Onyeka to center, you have a solid young front court right there to help Trae Young as much as possible. And then I think
Cam Reddish and DeAndre
Right.
Hunter still
Cam
time to
Reddish
develop.
is still got time to get better, and
DeAndre Hunter.
right, he's got time too. And if that doesn't work, because you don't want to draft a backcourt right now,
With who they have.
right, to get to grow. But if that doesn't work, I say next year is when they start hitting the backcourt.
I like that. For number 6 with the Hawks, I went with Isaac Okoro. Give the Hawks another great wing defender. He's 6'6", little. He's a lockdown defender, little short for a wing player, but I definitely think they can manage. And so yeah, that's my pick for the Hawks. Just lockdown defender. He definitely has room to improve in his offensive game.
Yeah.
His shot wasn't crazy in college, but with the NBA, I feel like he can develop into an elite perimeter defender.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my pick for 6. 7, Detroit Pistons.
This
What
is
do you
where
got?
I have Isaac Okoro.
Gotcha.
Because the Pistons need that young talent to come in and honestly just refresh them. And like someone you could throw in the backcourt, I think would help them more right now than a front court player, especially someone like Isaac Okoro.
Who'd you go with for Cleveland again at 5?
Obi Toppin.
Yeah, that's what I said. My
Yeah.
bad.
All right, who are you going with?
Denny of Avdija, small forward out of Israel. He's the full package. He's 6'9". He's got a point guard's playmaking. He can hit the 3. In college, he loved to go down transition and pull up for 3. He's the full package. He can do anything you need him to do. You can put him on their best player and defend him. The only problem with him is his athleticism isn't like all the way there.
Speaking of him, I have him going to the Knicks with the next pick because they need an all-around player like that badly.
They need a lot of players.
Right, but if they can start off with an all-around player, I think that's better right now. Someone who can play in the NBA to start. Because even I don't know if LaMelo is going to perform year 1, but I think this guy can come in and he can be
an impact.
Right, at the start.
I respect that, but number 8, I went with Killian Hayes, point guard out of France. The only problem with this pick is it probably gives Knicks fans little throwbacks to Frank Ntilikina.
Ntilikina, yeah.
Another point guard out of France that didn't pan out too well.
Instead of taking Dennis Smith, yeah.
Dennis Smith's on the roster now, but he didn't pan out
yeah,
either.
not together.
So, they haven't had much point guard luck recently.
No.
And to be honest, the Knicks spent way too much money on power forwards and centers, so they don't need big men anymore. They got Mitchell Robinson, Bobby Portis, Julius Randle. There's no need for any more big men.
Julius Randle overseas? Or no, Lance Stevenson.
Yeah. So Julius Randle there. They got scoring. They got defense down there. So I think a point guard to try and help out all these big men.
Yeah.
That'll be really beneficial for him.
Okay, you can start the next one.
Wizards number 9, Patrick Williams, small forward out of Florida State. 6'8". He looked very confident in his shot in college. He's very aggressive to the rim, and with that 6'8" and almost 7'2" wingspan, his defense is above average. So that's who I went with number 9.
I've got Aaron Nesmith out of Vanderbilt. He's arguably the best shooter in college basketball, and if you compare him with John Wall coming back and Bradley Beal, that they kind of need that guy who can knock down those shots, because he's not going to be he'll be maybe the third ball handler, but he's not going to be playmaking as much. Other people would be doing the playmaking to get him the shots. He's almost like a Klay Thompson kind of guy. He could play D. He's a 3-and-D guy basically, and I think that's kind of what they need right now.
All right. Suns number 10. I'll let you take that.
I've got Tyrese Halliburton, however you say that. He's a 6'5" point guard out of Iowa State, and he produced 52 3-pointers last season. So another good shooter, and as you're saying, if they do end up losing Devin Booker, they're going to need someone to fill in that backcourt spot, because who's their point guard right now?
Ricky Rubio, who's solid, but definitely
old.
not.
Yeah. Definitely not someone you want to have there in the long term. he shot 41% from the 3-pointer,
which is
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Right. So I think he's a good guy to fill in that role. And even if Devin Booker stays, those two together should be fine.
Number 10, I also went with a point guard. Cole Anthony out of UNC.
Okay.
A little short, but he's an aggressive scorer. He can get to the rim. He can shoot the basketball. The only problem is, like I said, with him being 6'1", the super freaks that are NBA point guards sometimes, they may take advantage of his size. But, like, he's scrappy. Someone I would compare him to is like a Patrick Beverly with a better offensive game.
Okay.
So, more of a ball handler than Pat Bev, but he gets that defense. Not quite as gritty as Pat Bev, but definitely similar play styles.
Yeah.
So
who you going with for the Spurs?
Spurs, I went Precious Achiuwa.
Yeah.
I apologize if I said that name wrong. Is that
Okay.
who you went with, 11?
No. I went with Patrick Williams.
All right. Yeah, for Precious out of Memphis, great three-point shooter for a big man. And so the only problem is he struggled from the free throw line greatly, below 40%. But you can develop that. You can't develop the will to shoot because that's what he was doing at Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
He was letting them fly, and most of them were falling.
Yeah, so I went Patrick Williams. He's kind of a guy that you kind of have to take a risk on. He didn't get all of the playing time, but I think if you just see his future, he has a lot of upside. He's only 19. He's ridiculously strong and powerful and dynamic. He only made 32% of his threes, but that's something you can work on because his shot, it could grow with proficiency. And you all know the Spurs, they can turn people into
out of nowhere.
Superstars out of nowhere, exactly. All right.
Number 12, Sacramento. Here I went with Aaron Naismith from before. Like you said, possibly one of the best shooters in college basketball right now. Crazy athletic, 6'6", which is great size for a point guard.
Yeah.
He can, like I said, do anything. And with that size, defense might come easy to him with almost a 7-foot no, not 7 foot, 6'8" wingspan, 6'9", somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a baller.
I went with Devin Vassell out of Florida State. This is kind of another one of those guys where you have to take a risk on him, but I think it could pay off. He only averaged 29 minutes last year, so he didn't get all the playing time. But I think he's a great ball handler, shooter, and defender. He can kind of do anything. And if you pair him with De'Aaron Fox, put him at the shooting guard, I think that could be beneficial for them.
Nice. All right. New Orleans at 13.
This is where I put Killian Hayes at. I think...
With Lonzo?
Yeah.
I think we'll work with Lonzo?
Yeah. I say they move Lonzo to the shooting guard spot. Actually, no, sorry. Killian Hayes to the shooting guard.
Yeah, I see Lonzo more of a point guard.
Lonzo is a pass-first type of guy.
Scorer.
More of a pass-first type
He's
of guy.
not like college Lonzo anymore.
Right. He's a pass-first. But I see Killian Hayes, lefty playmaker, but I think he could be that secondary playmaker and pass-first type of guy, but he can also score when he needs to, more than Lonzo. And I think those two together, two unselfish players, and then you throw in Zion, who's more of a, not selfish, but you want to get him the ball more. I say that. I think that'll work.
And then again, with up-and-coming Jackson Hayes,
Right.
two pass-first point guards are definitely going to help him develop. So yeah, I like that pick. For 13, I went with Tyrese Maxey, a shooting guard out of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
What the Pelicans have been need is a wing player. They have their big men in Zion and Jackson Hayes. They have their point guard in Lonzo Ball. They really don't have those wings, though. So that's what Tyrese Maxey out of Kentucky does. He kind of does everything. He's very versatile. He can play defense. He can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He's not very selfish, but he will shoot. And he's not scared to shoot.
Yeah.
Which some prospects are when they come into the NBA. But I feel like he will be a perfect fit for this roster, being able to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And with Lonzo at the point guard getting the ball, I feel like that'll work really well.
This is where I have the Precious Achiuwa guy out of Memphis. I think the Celtics need someone who can be more like a lockdown defender, and he blocks shots like he's a center. He's a 6'9" power forward. He blocks shots like he's a 7-footer. He's starting to make improvements on the offensive side of things, but the Celtics don't need a offensive superstar right now. They have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even Kemba Walker, and I think that they need that like core guy to put down low and make and to defend because they really don't have that core solid defensive big man right now.
With the final pick in the lottery, I went with R.J. Hampton. Possibly another guy with a high ceiling. 6'8" point guard, great size for a point guard. Feel like he can back up Kemba Walker, and that could help them off the bench, obviously. Kind of lead that second unit because obviously they're in contention. Maybe not this year, but next year I feel like they're definitely title contenders. And having a point guard that can lead that second unit off the bench can really help them kind of take their team to the next level from sleeper contenders to real contenders.
Mm-hmm.
So taking them from like the Heat level to the Clippers and the
Right.
Bucks and the Lakers, kind of be a thing like that. And if Tatum and Brown keep playing like they are, I feel like they're definitely going to be up there.
Yeah, and they're young, so they have time.
They have time.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes
The
our
first episode.
The first episode of JD Talks. Look forward to seeing you guys next
Weekly.
Next week, sometime around the weekend. Could be Saturday, Sunday. Don't know yet, but we'll make sure to get a video out. If you have anything you'd like to ask or say, or anything you want to see in the future episodes, you can go in the comments, or you can DM us on Instagram at JD Sports and Entertainment. Okay, guys. We'll see you next week.
Hit that subscribe button.